The rain poured relentlessly that evening, each drop like a tiny hammer against the fragile walls of her empty house. Margaret sat alone on the old wooden chair, staring at the faded photograph of her husband, John. His warm smile seemed to mock the emptiness around her now. She was 70, frail and abandoned, not by fate, but by the very children she had raised with her own hands. Her phone had stopped ringing months ago. The sound of her grandchildren's laughter, once filling these walls, had vanished. Her body ached from grief, her mind battled loneliness, and every corner of the house whispered the truth she couldn't escape. She was utterly alone. For weeks, Margaret had considered giving up. Maybe if she just closed her eyes forever, the pain would end. But one night, as she gazed at the rain-slicked streets outside, she noticed a stray cat shivering on the doorstep. Its tiny mews reminded her of herself, forgotten, fragile, yet still alive. Something inside her stirred. "If I can't care for myself, who will?" she whispered. It was a small thought, barely audible, but it ignited the tiniest spark of hope. That night, she made a decision. I will not quit. Not today. Not ever. The next morning, Margaret forced herself out of bed. Each step felt like climbing a mountain, but she started small. She cleaned her house, organized her cupboards, and made a simple meal. Every act of care, no matter how tiny, became a declaration. She still mattered. She began walking in the park near her home, dragging her aching legs one step at a time. At first, neighbors stared, some whispered, but Margaret didn't care. With each walk, she felt the sun on her face, the breeze against her skin, and a sense of life returning that she hadn't felt in years. One day, she noticed a community center offering free classes for seniors. It was awkward at first. She couldn't remember anyone's name. She felt clumsy, and many mornings she almost gave up before leaving the house. But she kept going. Painting, writing, even helping with small gardening projects. Each activity reminded her that she could still contribute, still exist in a world that had turned its back on her. Slowly, her confidence grew. Margaret started inviting neighbors over for tea. She shared stories of her life, her love for John, the betrayal she endured, and the strength it took to survive. People began listening. They began helping. And most importantly, she began to forgive herself for feeling abandoned. Years of loneliness had taught her something vital. Life could break you, betray you, and leave you in ruins, but you could choose to rise from the ashes. Margaret never got rich, never became famous, never regained the family she lost, but she found something far more profound: herself. On a sunny afternoon, sitting in her garden surrounded by the flowers she planted with trembling hands, Margaret smiled. She had faced the deepest sorrow and refused to let it define her. No matter how broken you feel, no matter how lonely, you can still rise. You can still choose life, love, and hope. Never give up. Not at 70. Not ever.